On this season of Psychology of, we've explored the origins of bad mind and examined its impact on our society.
I'm sure everybody would agree that bad mind somebody at some point.
All I have to say is own it. You know, you are who you are. Nobody else can do you like you. So whatever you have, as long as you're not harming anybody physically or mentally, emotionally, own it. Do you.
Sociologically, right, this is how we have been socialized or re-socialized to want something else that someone else has and not putting in the requisite hard work. So we are not born with being bad mind or envious or jealousy. These are things that, you know, throughout our social environment that we pick up on and we hold on to, and they're manifested in different ways.
Simple advice, you know, live good, right? Treat people the way you want to be treated. Just exercise good morals and good values, and it will come back to you in droves.
It's very important to continue to see God on a daily basis, and so He will give you the vigilance as to how to deal with, quote unquote, those bad-minded people.
We need to have a national philosophy that fights bad mind by saying every child is my child, and we treat our children accordingly. And once we can empower our society, we will diminish the negative effects of bad mind and perhaps learn to focus that negative energy whenever we have a common foe to fight.
Bad mind,
he doesn't set the bar. He is the bar. Colin Hines. So yeah?
Yeah. Works for me.
Works for you, right?
Yeah, it works.
Colin, it's so good to see you.
Same here.
Okay, welcome to Psychology Often. Right off the bat, what would dancehall artists do if we were to put a quota on bad mind songs that they can do?
Ooh.
What do you think?
It would leave a deficit in the armor of a few artists because bad mind has become a go-to topic for many an artist. And it doesn't matter the caliber artists, it has become one of their favorite subject matters.
No,
so yeah, it will leave a chink.
Bad mind. And I'm not going to say anything about it. I just go on.
Bad mind. What is it? It's a state of mind. It's the whole idea. Well, it's a state of mind that at its core hinges around jealousy and envy and the desire, or you're getting annoyed, or the displeasure you accrue from having seen progress in another. So it's a real thing, and that is because it is such a part of the human experience. It is not surprising that musicians, artists, especially Jamaican artists, make it a topical or a recurring motif in their music. And
that was going to be my segue. Do you believe that is the reason that it's so prominent and it's been infiltrated?
Yes,
you know?
they see it.
Like cemented, weaved.
They see it, they live it. And there are some go-to topics that Jamaican artists, I believe, some artists probably go to the studio without any idea and say, all right, I'll make a girl song, I'll make a bad man song, I'll make a culture song, I'll make a bad man song. And it could, so yeah, it's a real tangible aspect of life.
What do you say to people who are envious of you and your success?
Envy and bad mind is an absolute waste of mental and emotional space. And you do yourself a favor not to envy me, because there's nothing to envy, really and truly. And you can do it too. That's it. You can do it too. Or chart your own path. In fact, we'd be better off as human beings that if somebody, even somebody who is competing in your field of endeavor, if that person strives or excels, use that as a point of motivation for you to try to secretly say, okay, I'm going to better that, or I'm going to try to better that. Because you may not always better it, but it is going to improve your game if you use that which is optimum as your target.
Wise words.
Thou shalt not envy. It's bad mind.
On September 16, at Culture Doctor says, we need a thesis on bad mind in Jamaica. First, we made it one word, bad mind. Linguistically, versatile. Lyrically, dexterous. You're too bad mind, adverb. Look how you bad mind, adjective. Then bad mind you, verb. I need to find out a little bit more about what you're trying to say here.
There is a way in which you have to consider the social context in which you live. And I had been hearing so many comments about bad mind, not to mention the way in which bad mind is used liberally nowadays, I would say, especially over the last 10 years in dancehall music. But it doesn't, it doesn't stop there, it doesn't begin there. There's a way in which the social context shows up a certain kind of pathology that is rooted in trust. And I want to start there because I think at the heart of why we are now overusing bad mind is the question of trust. In fact, I was in conversation with my friend Karen, and she said, linguistically, there are all of these ways that bad mind is being used. She's a linguist too. And I said, no, we need a thesis on bad mind. There is so much to unpack about the way in which bad mind is used liberally in Jamaica right now.
Dancehall habitus, in some respects, breeds a psychology of the fantastic among its citizenry, expressing itself in drama and the will to adorn. So this is looking at the space. And now when you add that with the music and the constant repetition of the same word.
And I wanna focus on the psychology of the fantastic there, because there's a certain dimension of the fantastic that becomes almost phantasmagoric, that becomes, in a sense, we're talking about the way in which people strive, even in a challenging time, by using the fantastic, by adorning themselves. So dancehall is a space of exaggeration. And that psychology of the fantastic is a way of talking about that exaggeration, that you can exaggerate everything to almost step outside of yourself to become something else in the face of even bad mind. So in other words, the psychology of bad mind is really at the heart of the psychology of Jamaica. And the way in which, as a country, we have a culture of putting each other down, even at the same time that we can mine that space to find character and put ourselves on a pedestal. It's a paradox, actually.
Agreed. Self-love advocate and entrepreneur. Monique Kennedy. What is a self-love advocate?
That's a really great question. In simple terms, a self-love advocate is just someone who champions self-love. I really do believe that self-love is a very important tool in self-empowerment, and I just want to live a life that exemplifies what that could look like.
Have you ever caught yourself being envious?
All the time.
What?
All the time.
Wow.
Yeah. I do, especially when you're growing and you're on a journey. It's easy to look at other people and wonder, oh yeah, how come they are able to do that and I'm not able to do that? Especially when you don't have the full scope of what they're experiencing and their challenges. And that can be difficult at times, for sure.
What advice do you have for young, beautiful, Black women like yourself who are struggling with begrudging feelings?
I would say, first of all, write a lot. Writing is a really good way to practice self-awareness, and also start thinking about the life that you want to design. Sometimes we are focused on other people's lives and grudging them for it, and then when you look at it, you realize that's not even the life I want. So once you
that is true.
Yeah, so once you can hone into what you want, you're not really looking at other people because you understand the game that you're playing, and even if someone is doing something else, to you, it's just like, yay, go them, yay for them. This is my path.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
No, I could talk to you all day.
bad mind they long before we are burn out. Bad mind.
So after my first class of announcing and presentation, I went to Rex Hall, picked up my phone, and I called my father. And I said, Daddy, I meet Auntie Faye. And him say, we don't have no auntie named Faye. Some say, no, Daddy, Faye Ellington. And him go, no, but you're rich, man. You're rich. Usually you do this at the end of an interview. Right now, I'm getting a little emotional, and I'm trying to control myself because you taught me better. You guys know her as communication consultant. She's a patriot. But for me and for my classmates, you're Auntie Faye.
And I love it.
And I just want to thank you.
My pleasure. That's all we are here to do, you know, to hold each other's hands and to help each other move on. Oh gosh, arthritis on my side. The question cost. Now, so she get trouble for a long time, but
that was going to be my next question. What was your first impression of me?
energy. You are not one of those people who we could just take and mold like plasticine. You are on your own path. And man, that path has taken you places.
What is the difference, you believe, between ambition, jealousy, and the term bad mind?
Ambition should be when you want the best for yourself without trampling on anyone else. Jealousy is when you see someone achieving something or being something and you're so insecure that you'd like the same thing for yourself. But you just can't put the things in place to achieve that. Bad mind, no, that is something that makes me very uncomfortable. It's when you want to bring down somebody, either because of what they have done, who they are, how they have worked to achieve what they have, and you don't think nothing good about them. You just want to pull them down. It is different from ready eye, and it is different from grudgeful, but they are on the same continuum. But bad mind is a dangerous thing, not just for the people towards whom the bad mind is intended, but yourself, because then you become bitter. And when you are bitter, it's like you're a cask, a bottle, a flask with chemical in it, and it just eats you out.
Do you believe post-colonial journalism has impacted the notion of bad mind?
We're really not post yet, you know. We still have the queen as the head. And even though I know the protocol of these things so very well, and I deliver them for national honors and awards and all the things that have to be orator, I have always felt from the 70s, because I've been a radical, that we needed to have been a republic. But it's not just post-colonial journalism standing on its own. It's what the colonizers have done. So the bad mind would be that them take so much of our money, and you go to the streets, let's just talk about England, because they're the ones who impacted us greatest here, and the buildings and the edifices and all them, something with them build is our blood, sweat and tears. Our workers go over there and build road and work in a factory and on London transport and all kind of sitting, and all know the reparation story can't deal with. Why you carry me down this path? It's a passionate path for me.
I know. Do you believe that traditional media and social media has propelled the narrative of bad mind in this country?
Social media is very helpful at times, but it can be extremely harmful at the other end of the spectrum. So I think people like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, they need to manage a little bit more some of what goes out there. Now to traditional media. Somehow, some traditional media houses seem to be competing with social media and have morphed, in a sense, with social media. And so the standards we used to have to determine what should go and what shouldn't go, we somehow, not all media houses, sometimes things have just slipped. But it has to get better. No, I don't know when it's going to get better, but it has to get better. Look here, we ruin people's lives with what we put out there about them, you know. So it's not only defamation of character, it is messing with people's mental health. See what's up, you know?
Yep. I could talk to you all day.
Me too. And the person on the camera tell
I
me,
know.
say, "Man, you can sit down and rap for about 2 hours."
Listen.
Could I talk about this forever? And I'm not a linguist, you know that.
I know that.
I just love my language, love my culture, love what makes us uniquely Jamaican.
Psychology of Chill Chat.
Our guest, cool face, songwriter, and music producer. Welcome!
Go on, Jax, Triple J.
Cool face!
All is well. Big man, the international superstar.
The superstars!
And the lady with the flare glasses.
Oh gosh, Tracy always want to ask the first question. I want to ask the first question.
Yeah.
And my question is, if you could have did sing, them wouldn't dead around? The music industry couldn't angle it cool face, could I sing, you know?
The first question, I'm going gone and space and the right. More time I sit down and say, I could have just sing. With all the song ideas and structure I made, I say, I could have just sing.
So the very obvious question, cool face. Have you ever experienced bad mind?
Sometimes we can mistake bad mind for constructive criticism. Because we, as Jamaican, we don't like about the criticizing. Sometimes I'm going to say, boy, Craigie, only if we don't like the song there, I line the song there, the flow there. I'm going to say, dog, man, bad mind song, carry. You know what I say? So sometimes we use bad mind as a scapegoat.
A crutch.
More than a scapegoat. That's how serious it is.
So Dr. was asked when I came to experience bad mind. What you want?
Yeah.
I'm here, you make a talk, really sure when you say, you see, I could ever see. What me want to know? No bad mind that.
No bad mind.
You have a bad mind yet? to me. That's all.
I just know that the amount of work that I'd put in, because, alright, remember I said, I write enough song for people. And me love the creative process. Right. So my time, like, if we could ever sing like an arm and I want them to okay song, then I'd go. Remember I said, I write a whole a voicemail song with it and stuff. The only thing I have in a voicemail song, everybody's on back shouting when Craig was singing on the whole place. And Kevin them are singing on the whole place. And me just say, everybody. So they think I want to say something else. So they think I want to sing on one note and say,
So I want to ask him before I answer that if that's admiration or aspiration or envy.
I'm a person that accept my role. I know that I can't really sing like that. It's a thin line between bad mind and constructive criticism. You have to be careful of that because we start use bad mind as a scapegoat or a crutch, as we say. So every time a man says something to you, you're in bad mind and him this and that. But sometimes it's genuine bad mind because you have some people just not like the people do good. Because there's different levels of bad mind too, you know. You have the soft, mild bad mind. What
the pen?
You have the levels of bad mind. You have some levels, you know. You have some man, you have the levels of bad mind, you know, the depths of bad mind. You have someone with bad mind for nothing, you know, man. I say, me have my ear cut, and man look on Craig, you know, say, the whole Craig team, boy, have relax. I feel like I'm alone here, could have trim.
So what level is that?
That is at the worst level of bad mind, at the worst level of bad mind, that, you know. That have nothing to do with nothing, me, you know, inner lax. And me have my ear curly and fade, and I say, the one Craig team, you have locks, I want to. You think I'm a bad man, eh?
Watch people so much, then forget what they want.
Yeah, regular someone get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, man.
Because the artists will always point out the bad mind. Because there's no bad mind song out there, you know. Where you find them song the drop, because every artist sing about bad mind, so you know, say dancehall full of bad mind.
Right.
See, okay, must have a bad mind song. What the bad mind song with you, okay? There must be a bad mind song with you, okay? Everybody, remember, say, cartels say bad mind get the best of them. Bad mind kill them, Peter Metro and Mike kill us. Yes. See, everybody have a bad mind song at some point, so it's so obvious that it's the round, it's a float round like Corona in the year. Yo, give me the darkest class like Stevie Wonder would.
Oh my God, Pumbay, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me. No passing through and spit out one line.
Never you compare yourself to anyone. We don't worry about bad man. Oh, we can do that. We can just do a montage of like all of I'm a bad man.
Let me try now.
But them I beat you. And them I show the 32 T2.
Let me tell you something about bad mind. Can't see but me landmine. We don't worry about bad mind people. All them a chat. We don't worry about.
Cause we know good always triumph over evil.
Yo, Sasko. When I see my friends become my enemy, You've been in the music industry for over 2 decades. And over that period, you've mentioned the term bad mind multiple times in your songs.
Oh, I think you'd go count them.
Watch out. No, I tried.
That would be interesting,
I literally tried.
But yeah, okay, all right.
Why is that a prominent part of your catalog?
These kinds of emotions are a big part of life, and you know, music reflects a lot of life. When you think about it, if bad mind is comprised of several emotions, then it is reasonable to have it be such a big part of not just the culture but the music as well.
What advice do you have for those that are envious, begrudging, and bad mind you? No.
I'm about to give it 8 as I can to get
to
well.
it.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
seriously. All right, so next observation. My earlier songs about bad mind is more like chastising of it, and then in the latter part of, I guess, my more mature outlook, it's more understanding it and then kind of like helping people to a different kind of mindset against it. So like Banks of the Hope and a tune named Grateful. Grateful actually say comparison will steal your joy.
Yeah.
Zine. And so what I would tell people in general, not just if you bad mind me or even if you think you're bad mind or don't bad mind, is success is relative, and just try maximize your potential and, you know, be inspired by others rather than feeling like, you know, somehow if somebody make it take away from, you know, your possibilities.
Psychology off, season 1. Happy to have you.
Thank you. It did kind of concern me. I say, well, on the psychology of bad mind, I wonder why may I get this call? I may look like my bad mind or something.
No, but perspective.
It's all
perspective.
good, man. Give thanks.
It's been an enlightening season as I sought to bring to you differing perspectives on the colloquial terminology, bad mind. I must admit that after all my research and interviews, I'm still a little uncertain of the psychology of bad mind, as there's still room for more discussion. But what I am certain of is my Jamaican culture and my Jamaican people. We're spirited, dynamic, and talented. We're little, but we're talawa. The late great Marcus Garvey said, "We're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, for though others may free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind." Let's continue having open, sometimes uncomfortable conversations about where we're coming from, who we are, and most importantly, who we want to be as a people. Happy holidays, Jamaica. See you soon for season 2.
Hey, what you know?
To end bad mind, we must replace envy with aspiration. Let's all live inspired.
Well, in a life, you have to watch out for people. Tell them say watch out for wolf in a sheep clothing, but me just tell you say watch out for the sheep too. Bust and the wolf them, no for them are evil. All who you just help, claim them no need you. Your people always say if you watch out for fake friend, but careful of fake family.